Hey there everyone, Hanyou here, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.1 Onikakushi. Last episode, we talked a bit with Uichi-san about what had been going on recently, and then Rina showed up. She brought us food. But you all remember what happened the last time she brought us food, right? So, yeah, I'm more than a little suspicious. So, let's find out what's going on, shall we? I bet $5 she goes void eyes before she leaves. And also. Oh wait, there's more. So delicious, it just seems so delicious. Farewell to my unhealthy self who said he'd make do with cup noodles. Rina appeared to be in good spirits and she was offering such a delicious sounding dinner. The stress evaporated from my gut and hunger reared its ferocious head. At the same time, my wariness of Rina suddenly dwindled. Rina did say she was alone. It shouldn't be a problem letting her inside. Though the possibility of it being laced with poison still hadn't been ruled out. At that moment, a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then, but the voice inside me was sounding the alarm. This happy Rina speaking of this charming dinner was dependent on one premise, and that premise was that tonight dinner hadn't been made at my house, meaning it was under the assumption that my mom, who had been making it, wasn't here. At any normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. The fact that she brought over all the makings of a meal at this time was inherently strange. Unless she knew. Rina. Did she know that my parents weren't home? But there was also the chance that this was a bluff. I had turned on the lights and a bunch of other stuff to make it seem like my parents were here. There was a chance that Rina was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper. There were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. It was hard to say if Rina didn't have a chance to determine if my parents were here or not. But there was no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to that fact as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as I didn't take it off, Rina wouldn't be able to do anything to me. I'm quite grateful, but dinner will be ready pretty soon. Huh? Is that so? I know you went through all the effort and everything, but, well... Unable to think of a good way to refuse, my words trailed off weakly. But some of this could work as side dishes, I think. I'm sorry, we have more than enough already. My mom always makes quite a few sides. So... Huh? You have side dishes? With a smile that broadened on a cringe, I dodged her question apologetically. But the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, but it didn't mesh well with what Rina was saying. Rina was talking as if she was aware of some obvious fact. And that, I was aware of it as well. So Keiichi-kun can cook. What did you make, I wonder? No, well, it's not that I... Rina had assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. No, not so much that I'd made them, but rather that my mom hadn't. Did you really make them? The side dishes? Did you, Keiichi-kun? It wasn't me who made them. My mom did. No, she's making them. Right now. So you see, I'm sorry, but I can't eat with you. Can't eat what you brought. Rena fell silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt that the light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes. Here we go. Nope, she hasn't done it yet, but I'm... How about I try guessing what Keiichi-kun's dinner will be? It doesn't matter what I'm going to eat. Let's see. The conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rena was firmly in control. It felt like I was being interrogated. Your dinner. I wonder, is it something that can be made with just hot water? Hey now, stop with the insults. I can't believe you'd belittle my mom's extravagant dinner like that. Tickets sold out, full capacity already. It's that amazing. I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grit my teeth quite right. So instead, I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. But Rena showed no reaction whatsoever even to that silliness. Keiichi-kun, did your mother really leave you dinner? No, you see, she didn't leave me dinner. She's making it right now. It's almost time for dinner. Rena had taken that assertion of mine that my mother was home and making dinner right now and was completely ignoring it. I could tell that the more I panicked, the colder Rena became. Hey, Keiichi-kun. At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in from the gap in the doorway. Is your mom home, I wonder? I couldn't keep up this charade anymore. Rena. She knew full well that my parents weren't home. But I'd come too far to admit that now. Anyway, my parents were here, and we'd be having dinner soon. That was the situation I had concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here. She's here, of course. I could feel the humidity drying out from the surrounding air. Rena's eyes became even more frigid, piercing me with their gelid glare. Called it. Why? Huh? Well, what do you mean? I tried acting casual, but that facade was torn off me the instant I looked into Rena's eyes. That look, it informed me of Rena's response faster than she could open her mouth. Why have you been lying to me, I wonder? I'm not lying. That's a lie, isn't it? It's not a lie. Lies! Rena's outburst sent a jolt surging through my body. Rena and I were still separated by what few inches that slightly ajar but still chained door could afford. But despite that, I was still being cornered. My house, which I had considered a safe haven until now, had become more like a dark alleyway where no one could save me. Shall I guess your dinner, Keiichi-kun? Let's see. I knew now that Rena had already known that my parents would not be here tonight. But it was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew that my parents weren't home, there's no way she should be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rena said she'd guess. How could she guess it? How could she know it was instant cup noodles? That's right, isn't it? That I was going to eat. Wait, the cooking repertoire of a man who can't do housework is probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. That didn't mean she was guessing. I don't think you'll be full with just noodles. I think having rice and stuff will definitely hit the spot. Calm down, Keiichi Mibara. This was just coincidence. Rena was just reading certain tells of mine. So the fact that she was inferring that what I was thinking alarmed me. But it wasn't as if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, then she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that, they couldn't possibly exist. Do you like them? Do you mean noodles? I'm guessing she means no shit. Or no dying. Or no transferring. Probably dying or something, I don't know. No, because that doesn't make any sense in the context. I don't know what she said. Rena indicated that the point my answer was addressing was wrong. Her rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rena had spoken. Ah, okay. Sorry, Rena. What did you say just now? Huh? About what? Just now, you asked me if there was something that I liked, didn't you? It wasn't long before I regretted how carelessly I'd pushed forward with that question. It was such a simple answer that was why I wasn't able to comprehend it. Pork bone and ginger flavor. I wondered how I appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank until the moment I was able to recover. As my field of view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance. Why do you know that? I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rena know even this? Excuse me. Not even caring as I mashed my head against the door, I fixated my gaze on Rena. But she didn't even flinch when she saw me do that. I certainly did buy them. I bought a bunch at once. I bought a whole case. How could you know that? Why, I wonder? Quite strange, isn't it? Isn't it? How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain at the door suddenly were no longer protecting me. The chain and the door were no longer protecting me. How do you know? Why do you know? Answer me. You bought them at 7th Mart, didn't you? A shiver ran up my spine. I tried to cover it up with an angry facade. Like I said, why do you know that? I was behind you, following you the whole time. What are you saying? I couldn't understand why she was saying she'd been following me all this time. That's because Rena was right behind Keiichi-kun's back the whole time. That's creepy. Like that night? That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Uishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there, standing behind the door behind me, standing there just like that. When Keiichi was picking out the noodles, I was watching the entire time. You picked out so many different flavors, didn't you? Then your mom got angry. If you were going to pick the expensive ones, then you should just pick one type, she said. Then Keiichi-kun picked out that big box of pork bone and ginger flavor that he loved so much, didn't he? I like it too, pork bone noodles. But I could never eat a whole big bowl by myself. My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. It might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then I could understand what Rena was saying and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards. and as I withdrew, Rina advanced. "So, Keiichi-kun, can you open this? We can eat dinner together. I'm sure it's going to be delicious, so okay?" Rina's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack in the door, one at a time, as if they had a mind of their own, rattling the chain. If she had unlatched the chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. But Rina didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. She was doing her hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart, trying again and again, clatter, clatter, but it doesn't light. It doesn't light. "Open up, Keiichi-kun?" Please go away. I beg you, please go away. How can you say something so mean, I wonder? Please go away. Go away. Go away! The powder keg inside me finally went off. No smoldering, it just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rina momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet, and pulled with all my might. But the slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny, disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing, and the source of that was Rina's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggling, squirming around like tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway. It hurts, Keiichi-kun, it hurts. Ah. It wasn't a harsh shriek, but more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. Go away, go away, go away! I kept on pulling the door with all my might. I didn't even realize that if I didn't loosen my pull on the door, at least momentarily, Rina wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out, and that was why the door wasn't closing. It really hurts, Keiichi-kun. I'm sorry if I was messing around too much. Ooh. I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. It didn't change anything. It hurts, I'm sorry. Go away, go away, go away! Rina couldn't leave even if she wanted to because I'd trapped her fingers. Rina's white fingers had become deep red and were no longer even squirming. I'm sorry. Go away, go away, go away! I'm sorry. Rina's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away, go away, go away. Stop it. I pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rina's fingers were somehow able to slip out from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear a thud of Rina falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. I heard a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rina. I made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rina. I'm sorry, Keiichi-kun. I'm sorry. Open up, Keiichi-kun. Rina leaned against the door, apologizing profusely and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entryway. On the other side, I could still hear Rina echoing her apology. I'm sorry, those pitiful words. They would be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all. But that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I felt a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rina before Mion had threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now, at the same place, Rina told me the same thing. My feeble attempts to disguise the fact my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should have just pretended to be out and not even opened the door. My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rina as possible. 1 step, 2 steps. With each one, her sniveling apologies became more distant. Why do I have the feeling that he's actually just losing his mind? And it's making him demonize his friends for whatever reason. But at the same time, I don't know, man. It's just, it's very, I don't know. Because this may be me being a bit naive, but I can't believe that his friends are behind the disappearances. Even with the whole Void Eyes things, that could just be him hallucinating because of his growing insanity, you know? For whatever reason. I don't know. I sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As you would expect, I was no longer able to hear Rina repeating her endless apology. Diving into my bed, I was startled with the hard lump I felt. There was something in my bed. It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call with Oishi-san. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I had talked with Rina for so long, how did almost no time pass? But the hand on the clock was ticking forward 1 second every second as usual. Okay. As I put the still warm receiver to my ear, time, which felt frozen, began moving once again. Hello, Oishi-san? Sorry to keep you waiting. No, not at all. I didn't wait that long. It became apparent that the amount of time that had passed between myself and Oishi-san was different. Over the phone, I could hear an energetic voice from the sports program or something. It drove home just how far away Oishi-san really was. Rina came just now. Did she come to play? I wasn't confident that I could coherently explain the situation to Oishi-san. But I didn't need to right now. Right now, I needed to know about Rina. That's right, I was planning to ask Oishi-san more about Rina, but Rina's little visit had interrupted the conversation. What was true and what was false, I couldn't tell. One thing I knew was the single grim reality that Rina was suspicious. I might be able to figure something out if I asked Oishi-san about her. Up until now, I had regretted it whenever I forced myself to ask about things that I was better off not knowing. But looking at it that way, you could say I'd hit rock bottom. There's no possible way I could feel any more regret than I did right now. No. Rather, I wanted to know if there was anything beyond this I would regret more. Forget about tomorrow. It was about the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. I wanted to know everything I could. I was absolutely not going to die like this. Not without knowing anything, I definitely won't. Regarding Rina Ryugu-san? I did a bit of digging. Yeah, well, it wasn't much. I understood that Oishi-san was talking in circles. A bit meant I dug so deep it'd be hard to discuss with you since you're her friend. I want to know everything from your research. I don't think you'll be very interested in what I have to say, though. Oishi-san. I spoke as calmly as possible to Oishi-san, who was continuing to avoid the issue. And then I said it. I think Rina Ryugu is suspicious. Even if the past incidents were from Oyoshiro-sama's curse, Rina Ryugu is involved. Do you have some sort of proof that makes you believe Rina-san is suspicious? The manner in which Oishi-san spoke became very firm. Do you have some sort of proof? That was him talking as a detective. I only have circumstantial evidence. I see. I could tell even over the phone how disappointed Oishi-san was. Pulling on the fishing line when he felt a bite, only to reel in the bait. Disappointed, but ready to cast the line once more. That's how it seemed. Oishi-san. You can't do anything without physical proof, can you? What I meant was, you can't come and save me without proof. I stuck that barb in there. As Oishi-san loved roundabout ways of saying things, he understood me just fine. It's fine, Maebara-san. I'll protect you. That was not the least bit reassuring. Oishi-san was just using me to continue his investigation. I was just going to get killed and my corpse would be an important piece of evidence. That was all I was to him. Whether I'm alive or dead may be of no concern to your investigation, but it's all over for me when I die. Oishi-san went silent on the other end of the line. That may have been too blunt, but I didn't care. All I needed to relay to Oishi-san was that I was currently in a very dangerous position. So please, tell me. Tell me about Rina. Satoshi transferred out. Not too far in the future, I'll probably also do what Rina called transferring out as well. But you won't be able to find my corpse. You haven't been able to find Satoshi's body yet. Alright, Maebara-san, please calm down. I was suppressing my agitation even without Oishi-san having to tell me. It wouldn't solve anything if I continue to scream about my mistrust in the police. It would seem that I could only depend on myself and the bat Satoshi left behind to protect myself. Then I at least wanted to know about what happened before Rina transferred schools. You're aware that this won't be very interesting, right? Oishi-san, realizing my resolve couldn't be swayed, finally caved. Right now, to me, there is nothing that I'll find uninteresting. Please. There are a few things I need you to agree to. Okay. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? It might not be true. I don't understand what you mean. There isn't one main investigation for the mysterious chain of deaths in Hinamizawa. Each one is treated as its own individual case. Thus, Rina Ryugu has never been linked to any of the investigations. Basically, you see, this isn't an investigation of Rina done by the police, and is a personal inquiry is what you're telling me. This'll make things a lot quicker since you understand. All of it is from either phone calls or meetings and interviews, so they aren't corroborated. I'm asking you to take this all with a grain of salt, is what I mean. Do we have an agreement? All of it is just what you heard. Yes, my apologies, it's all my personal investigation, you see. That thing, before, you said you saw Rina's chart, didn't you? I'm sure I heard you say that. Oishi-san paused for a moment on the other end of the line. I told you that too? Ho ha ha ha. Please pretend you didn't hear anything about that. I didn't care about Uishi-san having certain obligations and responsibilities. I also didn't care if there was no proof. Even if they were just rumors, there's no smoke without fire, after all. Please tell me, Uishi-san. Understood. And we're going to end that here, so if you enjoyed this episode, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more content in the future. Until next time, everybody, have a good one. I'll see you later. Bye.